If we move into Sunday, it's kind of where the big games are. It's Bournemouth and Newcastle at 2 o'clock and Sunderland against Villa at 2 o'clock. Both actually really good games, that. Particularly, I think Bournemouth and Newcastle, let's start with that. Bournemouth have just been absolutely sensational with the loss of the two centre-halves. It hasn't affected them. The Iraola identity is fully in there. And then Newcastle, as we know, they play tonight at the time of recording against Barcelona. It's at St James's, so we'll see how that goes. But either way, that's going to take a lot out of them. And Newcastle have got to show that they can balance Europe and the league if they want to, be that club that they felt like they should have been in the summer when Liverpool came in for Isak and they were complaining about. They need to be able to balance it and try and get back into the Champions League and be able to handle it. So there'll be a bit of an energy killer. Bournemouth with a full week to prepare for that as well. Did Bournemouth have a game in the Cup? I'm actually not too sure. Let's have a look if Bournemouth had a game in the Cup. But if they didn't, Bournemouth have had a full week to prepare about it. They'll be lively. They'll be full of energy anyway, because that is how they play. We know that, right? So sorry, let me just go back to Wednesday. Did Bournemouth have a game in the Cup at all? Nottingham Forest played last night. They got beat. We know that. I don't think Bournemouth played in the Cup. I don't think Bournemouth did. Nah, Bournemouth didn't play in the Cup, so because they finished in a decent position. I expect Bournemouth to go in there, and I actually expect Bournemouth. I think they might tuck Newcastle away. They did it last season to them. I think that could be a little 3-0er. A little 3-0 there for Bournemouth. I'm putting it out there, but that is going to be a great game to watch because Newcastle, even still, they'll come with the physicality. They'll try and come with as much energy as they can, but I just think Bournemouth will have too much of them, and potentially tempted to captain Semenyo again and put him in there as my captain for that game in fantasy. But we'll see. I'm really intrigued to see Bournemouth because of Iraola. I think he, after this season, has got himself into a place. If it doesn't go tits up, which I don't think it will, he's got himself into a place where I really, really think that someone's going to come in for him. And look, if United get rid of Amorim, I think they should be all over Iraola. I don't think that squad's quite all the way gone yet to just be like a 3-5-2 squad. I think Iraola can come in and make that work, give a bit of energy to it, a good bit of coaching to it. So yeah, he's in line for a couple of jobs. Pep obviously probably leaving City at the end of this season, if not next. We'll see what happens like Arteta. If he doesn't win the league, do they want him out? So if I'm Iraola, I'm maybe holding off until the end of the season and see what all the options are. But been a fantastic manager, and I think when you see guys do it with the lower level teams and get these guys to perform to this level, you've seen it with like Klopp at Mainz, Fergie does it with Aberdeen back in the day, Mourinho does it with Porto. So when you see guys that do it with teams that are maybe a bit lower down and aren't doing as well and can get them performing to the level that they're at, I think that's a special manager and probably something that likes of Man United needs. So fingers crossed he doesn't go there, but I'm going for a 3-0 Bournemouth win. Sunderland Villa, really interesting because Villa have been very poor. Really, really poor. It just feels all a bit stale and a bit bland and a bit, just a bit sad, doesn't it? They just feel a bit sad, Aston Villa. It just doesn't feel very exciting, and everyone's a bit down in the dumps about the summer and about the business that they haven't been able to do, hamstrung by whatever reason that is. And yeah, just not good. Harvey Elliott, happy he's gone there. I don't like him wearing number 9. It's a bit weird. I know that's a bit of a weird thing to say, but I just don't. So Sunderland have been physical. They've been able to show they can mix it up. They've been tough to play against. Look, I'm going to go with Sunderland getting something there. I don't think Villa have been very good at scoring goals, and Sunderland will look like they can mix it up and play different ways, which I've been saying. What have Sunderland got? About 7 points so far in the league out of 12, which is absolutely huge for a team that's just come up to start off with that, and they'll be a little bit frustrated about the Burnley result. But yeah, Sunderland for me, I'm going to go for that. I'm going to go that Sunderland. Am I going to sit on the fence and go for a draw, or do I think Sunderland beat them? I think Sunderland might beat them 2-1. I think Sunderland might beat them 2-1 there and go and beat Villa. So again, I'm going to start putting my scores up in like a little picture format on the socials. So just keep an eye out for that. So again, that's another one. That's one to maybe flip back and forth on if Newcastle look a bit blown out and Bournemouth are blowing them out the water there. But I think Sunday, Bournemouth, Newcastle will be the one I'll be tuning into. And then we wrap the Premier League weekend off in terms of the TV games with Arsenal against City. And again, City obviously play tonight against Napoli, so let's see how much that takes out of them. Arsenal play Tuesday. They win away in Spain. The depth of the subs that come on seems to do them well. And as I've said, I think, Liverpool have had their last minute winners and stuff, so in a different way they're obviously doing well. But out of the team that looks like they are already clicking and playing to how they want to play, Arsenal are the one out of the three that look that way, and I think Arsenal will beat Manchester City in that game. I think they have to. I think at home, City are looking absolutely the weakest of the three. They're at home, they're at the Emirates. I think they should be able to get the ball down. They should make a statement and play City off the park, as well as mix in the set pieces, because you don't need to still like play for those set pieces, because you just, when you get them, you go for it and you do what you've been doing in training. And yeah, the depth has been amazing. Eze's been really bright. Martinelli comes off the bench and scores. Trossard does really well at the weekend. Madueke's looked absolutely brilliant for the signing they've had. In City, City beat United 3-0 last weekend in the derby and looked good, but there's a lot of weaknesses in the area in that City team, and I think this Arsenal team can easily take them apart. So I do think Arsenal could go and put them to the sword there and beat them 2 or 3-1, to be honest with you. Haaland's always just going to cause problems. He's always got goals in him, doesn't he? And he likes playing against Gabriel, and he likes kind of making it, a bit of a pushy, shovey match and kind of getting after it. And one of those, he does get involved in that. So we'll see how he does, but Arsenal will be up for it. I just don't see them not losing that game at the moment, to be honest, and I think it would be really poor if they do lose it. So I'm going with Arsenal win there, and I think that the battle will just be won and lost with if Arsenal can just get the ball down and take it to City and not necessarily just go down that set piece road. City have got some big boys in there, so they'll be able to defend them. So if Arsenal can do what they did against Forest and get the ball down and knock it around and come and play football and play at a high tempo, I think they'll take that City defence apart. I think they'll get through that City midfield absolutely no bother, and I think he's done very well at rotating in the depth that he's got in there. So we're going for an Arsenal win, 2 or 3-1.